The duct tape and gum that was holding the coalition together is already starting to fail. Price demolishing any goodwill the Liberals had left over with immigrant voters didn't help, but what really might be the nail in the coffin is the pretty intense factional infighting. As always, this started with immigration. Immigration has found a way to be shoehorned into every single conversation we have about Australian politics. I'm convinced a politician is going to be found guilty of cheating on his wife and try and blame Labor for his choice to replace her with an immigrant. Despite making up only 10.3% of the foreign-born population and 3.2% of Australia as a whole, Indian immigration is constantly debated. For reference, United Kingdom immigration makes up 14% of foreign-born population and 4.3% of the total population, but people seem to care a lot more about the Indian immigration, even though both of those demographics take up housing. I'll say what I always say. Yes, immigration does impact things like housing and the workforce, and it can impact things like culture if there isn't enough time for assimilation or acculturation to occur. However, the immigration numbers don't properly explain the dramatic increase in housing prices, and the vast majority of people who immigrate to this country are pretty chill and fit in with the culture. So during a debate about immigration, a guy by the name of Kos Samaras casually mentioned that about 85% of Indian immigrants vote for Labor. And that single sentence was like pouring gasoline and an already explosive forest fire. Instead of asking ourselves why immigrants aren't the biggest fans of the Liberals or other conservative parties, Sky News and the other shock jockeys, who in my opinion thrive on division, took this bone and ran with it. Jacinta Price found herself in a position where it seemed she believed she could make a headline or two and strongly alluded to the idea that Labor was knowingly and intentionally trying to get as many immigrants into the country as possible because it's politically beneficial to them. Now, as this was coming off of the back of the pretty intense anti-immigration protests, journos took the opportunity to say, hey, isn't this just stoking the flames of anti-immigration rhetoric, particularly anti-Indian Australian rhetoric? After realizing there wasn't much to gain here, Price almost immediately walked the comments back, but not without actually refusing to apologize for the statement being made at all, and then subsequently trying to deflect a lot of it onto the ABC. Given at this point the Liberals were trying to put a significant amount of effort in clawing back some of the immigrant vote, you can imagine how Sussan Ley and the Shadow Minister for Immigration reacted. Price decided to triple down on single-handedly nosediving public confidence in the Liberal Party by also refusing to express confidence in Ley's ability to even lead the Liberal Party at all. It's pretty reasonable that a prerequisite to hold a shadow cabinet position would be backing the leader, and because that couldn't happen, Price was removed. Price, however, had some pretty strong public defenders in her court. There was queer icon Tony Abbott, as well as election reaction meme generator Peter Cretlin. This is actually significant. Having strong conservative voices on your side to defend you really does impact Ley negatively. It puts pressure on Ley and perpetuates this narrative that she is not actually able to handle strong conservative politicians within the party. Ley copped it again when Price came forward and accused MP Alex Hawke of threatening her if she didn't apologize for the statements. The Liberals were already in the gutter when it came to the female vote, and this certainly does not help them. Internally, it also makes Ley look a little bit weak. Why was a senior male Liberal member getting Price to try and apologize? Why wasn't Ley the first person to speak to her? It looks like you're delegating because you potentially don't have the strength to do it yourself. Now, Price exposing this to the public may be because she genuinely thought it was disgusting to be threatened like that, but at least one MP believes this is the beginning of a growing factional war within the party, a new fight for control. Most likely, both rationales are probably true. Alongside Price, there are two other female MPs attacking Ley. Both MPs are from different factions within the party, but were also removed from the front bench by Ley. Both Angus Taylor and Hastie are feral for the leadership position, but both of them also know getting rid of the first female leader of the Liberal Party is going to be a politically horrific thing to do. There is this tension ripping apart the Liberal Party from the inside, and it doesn't seem like Ley actually knows what to do about it. One thing is for certain though, with Price on the backbench, she can now really say whatever she wants, and I guarantee she'll be in more headlines. Potential leaders like Hastie are also very keen to move away from net zero, and as I was writing this script, Hastie actually came out and threatened to leave the front bench if net zero wasn't put on the chopping block, and there are other members of the shadow cabinet who would follow him. When there's this much uncertainty simply within the Liberal Party, I'm half expecting for the Nationals to cut and run. One Nation recently overtook the Greens in national polling, and I'm not sure it'll ever actually happen, but it would be wild to see something like a Nationals One Nation coalition coalition because the Liberals lose so much support. This isn't the end of the Liberals, and I actually don't think that's going to happen. But this is the exact opposite of what Ley needed. Price is now not shackled by potentially losing her portfolio. Hastie and Taylor are gunning for the top spot. And a lot of the Liberals don't care if Ley remains in power. All they care about is keeping their seat and winning. And I'm not sure Ley knows how to do that. And if the Liberals start feeling that way, there might be a leadership spill. But hey, what do I know? Come join the Discord, come talk about it, come say hi, come let me know what you think in the comments, like and subscribe, check out the TikTok. It's been real.